Hi all, welcome to my On the Line show presented by MySportsResults.com and sponsored by Marathon Sports and the Foster Running Camp. My interviews feature some of Connecticut's top cross country and track and field athletes, teams, and coaches. And I'm super excited for this episode because I want to welcome standout senior distance runner Brooke Strauss of Glastonbury High School, who's the 2024 Class Double L State Open and New England Championship winner. Brooke will also be competing at Foot Locker Nationals on December 14th at Balboa Park, given her third place finish at Foot Locker Northeast Regional Meet. Anyways, again, I'm super excited, but we do have a lot to get to in this episode, so I just want to get right into it. So, Brooke, my first question for you is this. At the Northeast Regional Meet, you were able to run a personal best of 17:46 in your final race at in your final one of your final races of high school, which is the fifth best girls individual time, specifically on that course. How were you able to run such a blistering time on such a hard course? And sorry, this was for actually the New England meet, your personal best time at Wickham, just to clarify.
Yeah,
So, how were you able to run such a great time at this course?
yeah, no, thanks so much for having me. Yeah, that race, I was super happy. Definitely, I kind of having it be my last race at Wickham. I was really looking forward to it. I had kind of already gotten kind of what I was hoping for. Like and kind of that time was kind of above and beyond what I was hoping for this season. And obviously it was super cool having me and Chase both at the front. It really set up quite well because there was someone from New Hampshire and Chase that were both pushing the pace right away, which I was super happy about, and really just made it a fast race from the start. And yeah, no, I really like the Wickham course. I think it's a great course with kind of the mix uphills, downhills. And yeah, so definitely I would say Chase really helped a lot. And then also it was super cool to just have New England's in Connecticut. Definitely heard a lot of people like cheering for me and Chase, along the course. And yeah, so that's a race I'm super happy with.
Nice. And yeah, just in terms of that race, how were you really able to carry that momentum going into the Northeast Regional Meet, which was actually where you had your PR? That was my apologies for the confusion there, but that was where you ran 17:46 at Franklin Park, I believe. So, how were you able to carry that momentum from the obviously the three championship meets that you had at Wickham into the Northeast Regional Meet and Franklin Park?
Yeah, no, it definitely was good, kind of giving me confidence going into the Northeast region because I think obviously the Northeast region meet is very competitive, and I think just having New England's and the State Open be so competitive as well. Obviously, three other people from Connecticut made it to Foot Locker, so obviously that I think that really helped. All four of us prepare because we had already raced, multiple times this season. And yeah, I think just in comparison to last year, I think I was just a lot more confident going into the race at Foot Locker. And yeah,
Yeah, and another thing that I want to add is that the Glastonbury girls team has been stacked for so long. I mean, you guys have built such a great program, and a lot of that has to do with the job that you've done. But I just want to highlight that. So my next question is actually about the team specifically. So just how have the girls been able to develop such a strong team under Brian Collins? And how were you, specifically about last year, how were you guys able to overcome the Greenwich girls after placing behind them in the state open last year?
yeah, no. So definitely this year, I would say CCCs was super exciting for us because we ran pretty well at CCCs, and I think that kind of just showed us kind of the potential we had for the season. I think we were we were a little better this year than I think maybe we had even thought going into the season. And then double L's was um, going against Greenwich. Obviously, they're a really good team. And I think we really didn't have our best day. There was, a good number of people on our team that had some pretty rough races. So I think that was pretty demoralizing, kind of just as a group, knowing kind of what we were capable of and knowing that we didn't really meet that at double L's. So I think going into the state open, honestly, I think it helped us a lot, kind of losing to Greenwich and double L's in a way, because I think it took a lot of pressure off. And I think we were just excited because we knew going into it, like based on CCCs, that we had a good shot of winning. Um, but not really the expectations of winning. And yeah, definitely the team championship at the state open was is one of my favorite moments of this season because I was getting the team results back often when you're I don't really know how the team's doing until kind of the end, and it was cool because our team manager was like pulling up the results, and it was super exciting to see we won, and then also by how much we won, it was a really good day for us.
No, and I mean, you guys didn't just win, you guys dominated that meet. I was looking at the results. You guys won by a lot against a really good Greenwich girls team. And to, like you said, respond after the Class Double L meet and even carrying over from last year, you guys were able to, again, not only win that meet, but just like win it with authority. So huge shout out to you guys. And my next question is, again, another question about the team, but how has your relationship with your teammates benefited you not only as a runner, but also as a person?
Yeah, no, I love my teammates so much. Definitely, a huge number of my friends are people from running. Definitely, it's kind of cool. I think it really gives you a good group of people, kind of across various grades. And I think a lot of people on the team, maybe I wouldn't be friends with if it wasn't for running. And I think this year especially, we were a little bit younger, so I think we had a really fun team. A lot of energy, a lot of like singing along on long runs and stuff. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then also just for like our my like senior class, we have a pretty small senior class. It's kind of the core is me and like two around two-ish other people. So that's super cool to that I'm really close friends with them. And to kind of be able to go for the 4 years with them.
Yeah, no, and I mean, you guys, one of the another things that I noticed was that you guys do have a really young team. So this success is going to carry over in all seriousness. It's going to
Yeah.
be something that's going to prosper into the future, which is great to see. So again, you guys have built such a great program at Glastonbury. And I guess just in terms of that, how have you really helped foster a relationship with these younger girls, and how has your tutelage really allowed them to develop as runners to get to this point where you guys are winning state championships?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things. I would hope it's kind of inspiring for the younger runners on the team to see the success I'm having. Um, and I think also just, I think our team does a really good job of everyone works pretty hard, and I think that's kind of become a little bit of the expectation. So it's easy. It makes it easier when there's a group of people doing it with you. And then also it's just cool, kind of. I think are like both for middle school cross country and soccer. I think they do a good job of kind of bringing younger runners into the program. I went on a run with one of the middle school runners the other day, which was super cool because honestly, she's really impressive for being in middle school, and super cool to kind of see. Hopefully, lots of other people from Glastonbury will continue to have success, and I'm sure they will.
And just speaking of younger runners, you really burst onto the scene as a freshman. You know, you really got off the gun really fast. And what my next question is this. So you've clearly excelled at running from the start of your high school running career, especially because you've been consistently running since seventh grade. So with this comes very high expectations, especially when you were at a young age yourself. So have you been able to handle these high expectations placed on you from such a young age?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think definitely my teammates help keeping it fun, and I think like in middle school it was very unserious. Our practices were basically like hide and seek in the woods, and not a ton of running, to be honest. And I think like in terms of expectations, I think it's more so I have expectations of myself and kind of wanting to improve, but yeah, I mean, I think I've kind of adopted the mindset of, obviously trying to put in the work, and, some things in terms of results, obviously you do what you can do in terms of the work, and then you kind of just have to see what happens. So
And actually, I have another really cool anecdote just from your story. So, I've heard that Coach Brian Collins first noticed you when you ran a summer meet when you were in fifth grade. So, I'm just curious, how were you able to get into this race, and what was that experience like?
Yeah, it was like a cross country race at our home course, which is actually a park like right by my house. So yeah, I mean my parents were runners, so I kind of hopped in with some of their runs, and I think it was like an advertisement at like a bike store, and it was just something going on over the summer that I thought would be fun to do. And yeah, so I've definitely been running for a while, but most of like until high school, it was just kind of supplement to soccer and kind of just tagging along a little bit.
And one of the main things about your story is that you ran soccer throughout middle school. So I'm just wondering, how would you say this prepared you for running, especially at such a high level, and what made you want to switch sports?
I did soccer, well, for 10-ish years. I did soccer my freshman year of outdoor track, and kind of continued it. I was kind of like my first 2 years, I was doing running and also playing soccer for a club team, kind of trying to fit it all in. And like deciding between soccer and running. Kind of my freshman year going into the fall, I was deciding between doing high school soccer and cross country. And I think the biggest thing was people from cross country were reaching out and kind of like, hey, you should really give this a shot. And I think, yeah, definitely the people from running were very encouraging for me to do it. And I think it was super great as a freshman to have so many people, that kind of a sense of community right away. So yeah, definitely happy. And I think I'm also happy that I kept going with soccer kind of for the first 2 years. I think it made the transition a little easier because I was able to see that running really was something I enjoyed. That kind of made the decision easy, and then to kind of let soccer kind of slip away.
Yeah, no, I completely feel that in terms of what you were saying a little bit about the community of the running world and just how having those people to encourage you to do running. I was a baseball kid, like in middle school. So I thought about doing baseball in high school, but I was like, I really like the running community a lot more. So I think that's really cool. My next question is this. So in your previous 3 years of running cross country, you're one of the top in the state, but we're never really the top dog. Obviously, you were in packs with Katie Sanderson and Catherine Bulkey, who are two exceptional runners. So, how have you managed being the top dog, and how has this changed your approach to racing, given how novel it is for you to be in this position?
Yeah, no, it's definitely. I would say it's honestly pretty similar. I think it's just I have a little bit more confidence. I think kind of previous 3 years I was kind of just hanging on and hoping to kick at the end, whereas I think this year I'm kind of able to make moves further out. I think a lot of my races this year I kind of started pushing like last K, whereas probably previous years that would have been something I would have maybe been nervous to do or not felt like I could have been able to keep it up. But I think obviously this year it's still a competitive front pack, so it's definitely been cool to kind of not really so much freshman year, but past 3 years be part of the lead pack. Definitely State Open is a super awesome race that I think I have a lot of pride in kind of peaking for that race. So
Oh, nice. And I do want to talk about your performance at Foot Locker Northeast Regionals last year, where you've placed 13th, barely missed out on going to Foot Locker Nationals. But I'm curious, how did just missing out on nationals motivate you to just push that much harder this year? And how did it change your approach to not only training but also racing as well?
yeah, no, I definitely think it made me excited for this year. I mean, even over the summer, obviously that was something I had on my mind. And kind of going back to Katie Bulkey, obviously last year she was super successful, had a super great, cross country and then track season. And so obviously I saw her be able to qualify. So I think that was super inspiring to be able to see that. And also just in the race last year, I think I didn't quite have the confidence that I would be able to qualify. And kind of once I found myself in the race, I it was a little unexpected how close I was to qualifying. And so I think that definitely helped. Obviously, going into this year, my goal was to qualify. Um, and I think also like races at State Open in New England's are super competitive, but I think the Northeast region it's a little more like dense front pack. Like definitely State Open in New England, you have lots of really great people, but kind of the Northeast region, like everyone is there, like first mile, which is a little bit different, obviously. Kind of, and I think can be a little bit stressful when you haven't experienced that before. So I think that helped me as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. And again, huge congratulations on qualifying for nationals. That's a huge feat. You're gonna absolutely kill it on December 14th. But I'm wondering, just racing at Balboa Park for the first time, obviously there's some inexperience there, but
Yeah,
how are you analyzing this course, and how do you think your experience at Wickham, Thetford as well in Vermont, JB Williams, another very hard course,
yeah.
a place that I dreaded racing at. But how do you think your experience with these other tough courses will really help you prepare for Balboa Park, which is obviously another very hard course?
Yeah, no, I'm super excited to race there. I mean, I think honestly, kind of the big thing I'm thinking about is obviously the uphill will be tough, but kind of the downhill as well. I think Wickham does a good job of teaching you to like take advantage of the downhills. So definitely that'll be something I'm looking to do, and just throughout the season, obviously training for Wickham, you're doing a lot of hills and training. So obviously, hopefully, I'm prepared for that as well.
Oh, for sure. I mean, with the itinerary of courses that you've raced, I think you're very well prepared. So that's great. I again wish you best of luck at that race. And just as a general question, what are your goals for Foot Locker Nationals on December 14th?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things that's kind of tough to say since I don't have the experience there. Definitely, obviously, placing third in the Northeast, I think gives me a lot of confidence going into that race. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm really excited for the opportunity to because I feel like kind of my Foot Locker race, I left a little bit on the table, not that I wasn't trying or anything, but kind of seeing obviously the goal was top 10 and kind of in my head I was thinking third would be kind of what I was hoping for. So I think I'm really excited to kind of not know kind of what the expectation is and really just try to, be smart the first mile, but then really try to compete and race hard. So
We will be right back with our interview with Brooke Strauss after we take a quick break for this message from our sponsor, the Foss Running Camp.
On the Line with Grant Walters is sponsored by Foss Running Camp, an overnight cross-country camp for middle and high school athletes of all abilities, located in nearby Torrington, Connecticut, August 14th through 19th. Go to fossrunningcamp.com for more information. Foss Running Camp, where champions are built one step at a time.
All right, we are back. So, welcome back to the second part of our chat with Brooke Strauss. This next section will be focused more on Strauss's track success. So, super excited to get into this. So, first question for you is, last outdoor season, you raced at New Balance National Outdoor Meet in the 4x8 with Ava Gardinella, Jacqueline Dudas, and Anika Paluska, placing seventh. What was this experience like racing in the 4x8?
yeah, no, that was a super cool race. It was we had a thunderstorm delay, so the race ended up being kind of at night, like as the sun was setting. So it was super cool. And New Balance, I think, does a great job with like their championship, heats, making it super exciting. And yeah, I've had some really, really fun 4x8s over the years, and I think that one in particular was especially special because the three other people on the relay were all seniors, so it was our kind of our last go around with that group. And yeah, I think we that was another race I think I'm pretty proud of. I think I ran a strong leg, and just as a group, I think we were proud of the results, even if we were seventh, one spot outside of kind of All American. I think we were really happy with our performance.
Nice. And I know that you also ran the mile at this meet. That's correct, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, how did you balance the approach to having this team event and also having this individual event that you had to race as well? What was that balance like for you?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to race the mile. Just given that it was the day after and I knew I'd be tired from the 4x8, yeah, my focus was on the 4x8, especially since it was, as I said, the last go around with the free seniors. And then also I had kind of been a little sick leading up to it, so I wasn't even sure how good I would feel. And so kind of the mile was, I almost decided not to run the mile. I'm happy I did, but I didn't have a ton of expectations going into the mile. It was kind of just like an afterthought at the end, given that I knew obviously I'd have a real long break from racing before cross country started.
And just out of curiosity, in terms of the 4x8, what is your favorite leg to race?
I like the anchor leg. Definitely, I think it's cool to be able to finish it off. I think I've had some fun like indoor New England 4x8s where I'm not in the lead and there's kind of people to go and catch. And then also this past year, the indoor 4x8, we set the state record there. And it was super cool kind of hearing the cheering from the crowd, and it's definitely cool kind of being the anchor because you're kind of the culmination of kind of the free legs before you. And yeah, that was super fun too.
I generally think the 4x8 anchor leg might be the most entertaining, like specific section of a race to watch, even more than a 4x4. So I love that answer. I think that's really cool. And just in terms of your track career in general, you've been able to handle a high amount of usage. I mean, you ran the three main distance individual events at the 2024 indoor track state open, as well as the 2024 outdoor track class double L meet. Those are the two examples that I found of that. But how are you able to manage such a heavy workload, both physically and mentally as well?
Yeah, no, it's definitely tough. Obviously, the free races, especially, I feel like indoor is really tough because you're kind of stuck in Hill House a little bit. Definitely, I think kind of treating it a little bit as a workout. Obviously, you're racing, but kind of in the same way you do like one rep at a time during a workout, kind of one race at a time during one of these meets. Definitely, it's a little demoralizing when you're like finishing the 1,000 and they're like calling check-ins for like the 1,600. And then that's it is pretty tough. But I think, and then obviously after I'll really try to rest. Obviously, you're going for team points. So obviously it's not like I'm trying to, PR. So I think honestly in another way it's given me a lot of practice with racing, which is something I think is super valuable. And I think obviously that's kind of in some ways one of the best parts of the sport is just, being competitive and not focusing on times as much.
Well, I truly admire the amount of usage and workload that you've had to deal with in races. I mean, I feel like the mental and the physical, they have a connection, right? And I just could never get over like the mental like barrier of having to I was like 4x8 and 1600. That was my typical like 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
And I could never just get over the mental barrier after the 4x8. I never raced a good mile after I raced the 4x8. So huge respect to you because I know how hard it is. So I also do have another question. I think this is a super interesting one. So obviously you're an individual and team champion in both track and cross country. So I'm just curious, how would you compare the feeling of being a state champion in both of these sports? Is there any differences or is it a very similar feeling?
Um, I would say definitely I think it's cooler like cross country. I definitely the thing I love about cross country is it's one race and everybody's kind of in it together. And I think it's also I know the people, everyone I'm lining up with on in cross country, I know them. I run with them every day. Whereas track, obviously, everyone's kind of doing different things. A lot of I definitely like having all the different events there, but I think there's less of a closeness. So definitely, I think the cross country state championships are super super cool.
And I gotta ask, just to be able to perform at such a high level, what is your go-to track workout? And also, what is your go-to cross-country workout?
Yeah, well, I like cross country workouts a lot better than track workouts generally. Probably I like for cross country. We do a lot of stuff on the grass. We have like a 1 mile grass field. So probably for cross country threshold miles with like just a minute standing rest in between, like four threshold miles. We also do alternating miles also on the grass. So similar like threshold mile and then a mile at like a moderate pace in between 4 or 5. Those would definitely probably be my top two favorite workouts. Track workouts, honest, some of them are kind of tough. I think definitely with us kind of focusing on the 4x8, probably a lot of those workouts, especially in past years, probably were a little bit below maybe my like kind of what I'm strongest in, but definitely I think it's been good to try to improve that. Definitely, yeah. And it was kind of nice too last year too with a lot of great 800 runners. It was pretty competitive and we like helped each other in like 400 reps, was kind of where we kind of met in the middle a little bit. So yeah.
No, I mean, I bet the training regimen for that 4x8 was really fun to do, especially when you have people at really a similar level. So yeah, I bet that was a lot of fun. But
Yeah.
anyways, I do have another question that I ask all my guests the same question because I think it is very insightful. So, do you have any pre-race rituals, and are any of these superstitious?
Well, I'm not a very superstitious person in general. Probably like right before a race, or not right before, but like 2 hours before, I'll have a bagel. And then kind of I have the same like electrolyte mix before each race. I'm not sure if it does anything physically, but I think it's just nice to have the routine of it. Yeah. I'm not particularly superstitious.
Yeah, okay, I respect that. I respect that. Also, I just want to ask as a general question, you've clearly been able to excel from everything from the 800 to the 3200 and the 5K, obviously, in cross country. So, what event do you think matches your running skill set best? And this doesn't have to be the same as your favorite track event or event in general, but what matches your skill set best and what is your favorite event?
Yeah, I would say skill set best, probably mile. I'm looking forward to maybe doing a little bit more with the 2 mile this upcoming track season, especially maybe outdoor. But yeah, probably mile. I think it's a good mix between kind of the 800 stuff we do and the cross country workouts, which I enjoy more. Probably in favorite event. Well, I agree with you. The 4x8 is super fun to watch. So yeah, that probably would be my favorite like track event. So mile and 4x8, probably a lot better at miles than I am at 800s, but it's fun to have the relay.
Nice, nice. And what would you, just to kind of bounce off of that, do you like track or cross country more?
I like cross country more. Yeah, cross country more. I like the workouts better, and I think, as I was saying with like kind of the team championships, I think it's nice to kind of have a smaller team and kind of know everybody on the team versus a super big track team with some people who you know are kind of doing it as training for another sport, or probably don't know people as well as cross country.
Yeah, no, I know that you mentioned the kind of the cooler connotation of a cross country championship, and I cannot agree more with that statement. I mean, just the Wickham vibes and everything is just different. It's just different. But we'll be right back to our interview with Brooke Strauss after we take a quick break for this message from our sponsor, Marathon Sports. welcome back to the third part of our chat with Brooke Strauss. The next section will focus on Strauss's personal life and her commitment to run at UConn next fall. So, just getting more into your personal story and just some more personal questions. What extracurriculars do you do outside of running?
Yeah, but most of my time is running in school. But I would say I'm really into like cooking and baking. My dad's a really good chef, so I think I've kind of followed him in his footsteps a little bit. And then also kind of going back to the soccer, not so much this year with kind of college visits and stuff, but I'm ref youth soccer, which is super fun to kind of be able to keep up with soccer now that I'm not playing it anymore.
Nice. And what is your favorite thing to bake or cook?
Oh well, big on breakfast food, and then what we haven't baked yet this fall is pumpkin chip cookies. That's yeah, one of my favorites.
That sounds amazing. Wow. Okay. I'm a big pumpkin guy, so I mean that with chocolate chip, that infusion just sounds so good. I can't even
Oh,
lie.
they're
Wow.
really good.
Yeah, no, I bet, I bet. My next question for you is, do you have any hidden talents, and if so, what are they?
Um,
Other than cooking, like any like kind of niche like talents.
I don't know that I really have very many niche talents. Probably going back to the cooking, probably would be making something random out of like random scraps in the fridge. I feel like I could be a good like contestant on like one of the cooking shows where they just give you a random basket of just random stuff.
Yeah, I was about to say I might not be seeing you on the cross country course, might be seeing you on like Chopped or something, you know? So like, I mean, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Um, so my next question for you is just in general, this is kind of a deep question, but how would you characterize yourself and what are some unique aspects of your identity that some people might not know about?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I'm a definitely competitive person. I think obviously in running, but I think also in school too. But I think I would also hope that people would say I care a lot about my friends. I'm super obviously, a lot of my friends are my teammates, and I'm super, rooting for them, and definitely kind of it, care a lot about kind of their success as well, and really do want them to do well. Yeah, so I'd say those are kind of two
Nice,
main things.
nice, nice. Yeah, and just in terms of your overall high school experience, obviously almost done with this chapter of your life because you're a senior. But how do you say that you have changed over these 4 years?
Yeah, I think I've gotten a little bit more confident. I think freshman year I both in running and probably in a lot of other aspects of my life, I kind of was a little shy, wasn't kind of sure where I fit into things. But I think yeah, definitely that's improved a lot. I think it's been cool this year, especially with kind of all the college visits and like different calls and stuff to be able to talk to a bunch of different people and like meet people from all across the country has been super cool. And yeah, I mean, I think I've really enjoyed high school, had some, really great friends, and obviously I think running's been a big part of it. So yeah, super grateful.
Nice. Yeah, no, I was about to ask, has running really allowed you, you said you were shy at first going into high school, but would you say that
Mhm.
running has really helped you kind of break out of your shell in a way?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think obviously you meet a ton of different people with running, and I think it's super cool. Obviously, you have something to connect over. And yeah, obviously, I think kind of being in pain together kind of really brings people together. So yeah,
I was the same way. I feel like every freshman is the same way, where it's like you're trying to find out your role in the school and within the, just within the entire like social construction of high school. And it's just, I don't know. I was the same way. And like running, I started running my sophomore year, so like it really just helped me find that community. So that's really cool that it just, allowed you to, be more clear on your identity. It was like the same way for me. So that's really cool. I also do have another question. So this is a pretty interesting one. So I just want you to take me through one of your fondest memories and just why is this memory so fond to you or so special to you?
um, hmm, I would probably say probably one of the 4x8s. I would say indoor 4x8 this year. I think because that was reset the state record in indoor, and it was really cool, that one in particular. Because kind of my best friend Lila was on that relay too, and she was um kind of injured, kind of sick. So super cool to have her on the relay. And I think also just as I was saying before, I think there's a lot of energy, excitement, just in that relay. And yeah, that would definitely be one of the top memories. I think there's a lot of them though. Obviously memories like that kind of races, but I think also just kind of some of the trips. I mean, it's been super fun, obviously going on different trips for New England's, all going up as a team. Definitely, I feel super lucky to have, a team to run with that's, super competitive, because I know lots of people, competitive at, state open in New England's don't necessarily have that. So
Nice. No, I like that answer a lot. So like you said, some of the memories of the team just with 4x8s and in general, just such great memories. So love that answer. Anyways, I do want to get more into UConn. Obviously, you're committed to run there next fall, which, by the way, huge congratulations to you. That's such a great program. So, what really drew you to this program?
yeah, no, I really like the people. I think I you know it was definitely a tough decision for me. I think a lot of people say kind of you'll kind of one school, you'll go there and you'll like know it's the right place. Whereas for me, I think there were like five schools that I think I honestly believe I could have been happy and run well at any of them. But I think UConn, I really like the people on the team. And another thing that kind of excites me too about UConn is kind of the opportunity to hopefully improve as a team kind of over the 4 years. I think, they had a good season this year. So I think it'll be super cool to kind of work towards, NCAA qualifying as a team as like kind of the big goal over, 4 or 5 years. So
Nice. And obviously, the team is led by head coach Beth Albert Sullivan. So, I'm just curious, how has she really fostered a relationship with you, and what stuck out to you about her in the entire recruiting process?
yeah, no, I'm super excited to work with her. Definitely, I think a big thing for me was talking with the people on UConn's team, both Chloe and Jenna, who's from West Hartford. Both of them, spoke really highly of her, and it really seemed like she did a great job of kind of helping them, obviously with running, but also kind of working things out. So both of them have a fifth year and really kind of caring about their well being, um, you know, all around with running and obviously school and life. So
So, academically, I'm just curious, what are you planning to study at UConn, and how do you plan on balancing your obviously collegiate running schedule as well as college classes?
yeah, so I've really liked my physics classes thus far. So I'm planning on UConn has a program where you have 2 years in undecided engineering. So I would go into that and then decide from there. I'm thinking maybe mechanical or electrical, but not sure yet. Definitely a tough major. So it's one of those things. Whatever school I was at, I wanted to have the option to, you know, be able to major in engineering, and see, if I can make it work out. Obviously, I know it'd be quite tough balancing both of those things. But I think I find it interesting. And so I think that's kind of the main reason I'm drawn to that, because definitely I think I'm very passionate about running, and I would say kind of the side passion is sort of physics and that. So
So that's really cool. That's really cool. I don't hear a lot of athletes really major in engineering, so that's really cool to think about. So obviously, like you said, huge challenge, but I think you're up for it. That's awesome to hear. So, and just in general, just in terms of college life, what are you most excited for about college? And also, what are you most nervous about?
yeah, I mean, I think I'm most excited for kind of just the team. I think it'll be super cool to have, 17 or so people who are all very focused on running. And I think obviously you spend a lot of time with your teammates in high school, and I think probably even more so in college. So I'm excited for that, and I think I'm also excited for kind of starting at the bottom again a little bit in terms of not really knowing what I'm capable of. Obviously, kind of going into high school, I didn't necessarily think I would be kind of running the times I am now. So I think it's cool, obviously, being in such a competitive environment, to help kind of push me to be better. Yeah. And then in terms of things I'm most nervous about, probably just the balancing school. Obviously, I know engineering is pretty tough. But I think I'm kind of optimistically approaching that and see how it goes. And obviously I think I've had practice with whatever, time management in high school. And so, but yeah, definitely I think that will be a challenge.
Nice. Well, again, best of luck to you in college. I know that's in a little bit, but I know that you're going to crush it. That sounds awesome. UConn, I have a bunch of friends that go to UConn. They all love it there. So I'm assuming that you're going to love it. It seems like a great place to be. But anyways, again, I would like to thank Brooke Strauss for her time and willingness to be part of this interview. It was enlightening to hear what you had to say, and I wish you the best of luck at Foot Locker Nationals on December 14th at Balboa Park. Just again, thank you so much for taking the time and just to do the interview. So, yeah, it was a really pleasure talking to you. And yeah, this is Grant Walters signing off for On the Line. I will catch you guys next time, and thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good one, everybody.